Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Liz and I'm going vegan while doing things a little extra each time. Today, we're pitting oat milk versus oat milk and seeing which is best in your coffee. So if you're new here, I'm a complete coffee lover. I am just a total coffee fanatic. And I've been on the hunt for the best coffee creamer ever since going vegan, ever since just originally being non-dairy. I want the best creamer. And I've pretty much settled on oat blends or just oat milk. They seem to be what works best being frothed. I like to make a lot of lattes, a lot of cold foam, cold brews, just kind of those types of drinks. So I just want something that's, equivalent to, say, like a half and half. Your typical creamer that you can buy on the shelf. So, I recently just discovered, NUTPODS just came out with their oat creamer. And I was like, you know what, I'll give it a shot again. I can tell you right now, the original NUTPODS, their like almond and their coconut blends, froth terribly. And that's kind of understandable. They're totally, this is especially unsweetened. They're plant-based, dairy-free. This one's nut-free, obviously. Vegan. But they're typically, meant for people doing the keto diet, doing paleo diet, Whole30. They're known for being Whole30 approved. They don't have any of that bad stuff in there. And actually, yeah, if I can get this to focus on those ingredients. Yeah. So there's really not too much going on in here. I actually think the oat milk has more than their others. I could be wrong about that, but they've got some, kind of like thickeners in here. But I love that there's no sugar. Anyway, what I really loved about this was I wanted to see how it compared to Oatly and if I've just been, wasting my money. I especially also wanted to compare the Oatly Barista Edition with just regular Oatly because the more and more I've bought and used this product, the more I'm becoming a little skeptical that there's like not enough difference between the two to justify the price. At my local Wegmans, I'm in Pennsylvania, Oatly goes for $5.79. It's kind of insane. And the Oatly Barista Edition goes for $4.79. So there's only, about $1 difference between them, but you're getting 64 ounces. You're getting double the amount in just the regular Oatly. And if this works just as well as this, I would like to save myself some money, But then I want to see this little underdog, if it performs just as well as these, because you're getting less of the junk. Not that Oatly is by any means a bad product. Again, we'll take a look at these ingredients. But you can just see, even, they have sugars. It's not anything crazy, It's nothing terrible. It's just not as clean as the NUTPODS. But again, if it's going to give you that latte feel or that rich half and half feel, and it's, going to help you drink your coffee or make it, help you transition to a plant-based diet more easily, I'm okay with it. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I also want to compare these two because I was looking before and there's really not that much difference in the ingredients. It just looks like this contains a little more of that acid rapeseed oil. So I'm guessing maybe that's the like a little bit of a thickening agent. So we're gonna test. I've got my trusty Nespresso frother here that performs beautifully every single time. So we're going to test these out. We're going to foam each of these, see how they sit on top of the cold brew, and then I also just want to try them stirred into the coffee as well, in case you just drink it, in like just plain coffee. You're not going to sit there and take the time to froth it. So let's get testing. And guys, don't forget, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and while you're at it, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell next to it so you're notified when new videos go up. But yeah, let's start with NUTPODS. I think that'll be just a nice little base to go off of. And I'm not going to be doing any kind of crazy amount because we should be able to see if it foams, if not a terrible bit. So let's do this. So this is what we're looking like after frothing. I mean, honestly, it doesn't look too bad. It looks maybe a little watery, but let's get it into the glass and further evaluate. I'm still happy that there's a lot of bubble action going on. Guys, that is a pretty beautiful foam. It pretty much held as one layer above the cold brew, kept that silky froth on top. Let's give it a taste. That is so nice. Now I will say it really purely does just taste like frothed oat milk. And I mean that in the best way, but I just want to note that with the Oatly blends, there's a little bit of a sweetness there because they contain sugar. And so that gives a little something to your coffee, especially if you're someone like me who doesn't add any other flavors or sweeteners. Whereas with the NUTPODS, it's just going to be like frothed cream taste. It's not going to have any sort of sweetness to it whatsoever, but it's so silky smooth and holds up even after taking a sip. That foam is still there. It has not broken down, has not gone back into the coffee. There's still a nice distinct layer, and it's even coating my reusable ice cube. I mean, that's pretty much a winner right there. That's really, really nice. I wish this would come in a bigger size. I got this on sale for $3, I believe it was. So, I mean, ultimately, obviously cheaper than the both Oatlys, but again, this is only 16 ounces, so it's pretty negligible. And if you're someone who uses a lot of creamer, I'm also someone who doesn't use a ton, so this would still last me, about a week or so. But for someone else, if you're putting in a ton, this isn't going to go that far. So that's what I also just want to see in comparison. But overall, a total winner in my book. This is fantastic by NUTPODS. I mean, really, they really stepped up their game with this one. Not that their other creamers are bad, but they don't have this kind of body at all. I would never be able to do this with their other blends, and I know because I've tried and they just kind of turn out like a watery mess and then immediately just disintegrate down into the coffee. So yeah, no, A plus, thumbs up for NUTPODS. Okay guys, I have rinsed and dried my frother again, and now it's time for the Oatly Barista Edition. Again, this is the one that seems to have a little bit more of the rapeseed oil. So I think that's what's giving it a little bit extra thickness, but we're about to find out. And now again, like the NUTPODS, it's obviously an amazing froth. And it actually succeeds the NUTPODS in that there's way more bubble action. There's way more foam going on here, and that's immediately apparent. So yeah, that's definitely a point extra for the Oatly Barista blend so far. That's pretty awesome. So let's get that into our glass. Oh. This is quite phenomenal. That distinction between the coffee and the foam that is just holding beautifully, no matter how much I twirl and tilt this glass. Look at that. That is beautiful. That is, you all hail, like, you get to keep that claim of barista edition because it's doing what it's promising it should be working for. And I love that because there are other barista blends on the market that do not do this well, do not perform at all, and you can check them out in my previous Creamer Showdown video. I will link it up here. But yeah, wow. And yeah, I'm sorry, even compared to the NUTPODS, which I'll bring back out, I mean, look at that kind of contamination. If I shove this back a little bit. I mean, NUTPODS is still doing a decent job. Don't get me wrong, but that there is not as gorgeous as that. Is clean, squeaky clean. And if you're, a coffee nut like me, you will definitely appreciate that. The foam is holding up. I mean, it's like one glorious piece. All right, let's take a sip. Oh my gosh, so smooth. Actually, even though I said the NUTPODS was smooth, this is even smoother, and you can tell the difference in the foams just at glance. I mean, that is like a microfoam. Like, that is so tight. This is a little bit loose, and it's actually, now that it's been sitting, starting to break up a little bit around the edges. But that, even after taking a sip, and still the cleanest line separation down there. So, all right, I know I was buying this for a reason. I'm glad in this test it is still holding up, because I really thought the NUTPODS oat creamer, when I was just like using it without an official test, it was performing as well as this. So I'm glad to see directly side by side that this is still like double, triple, quadruple, 10 fingers, 10 out of 10. So now let's compare it to regular Oatly though. And I'm just comparing it to the regular Oatly, not the like full fat one, because I feel like not everybody's really buying that one all the time, and that's not available at every store, whereas regular Oatly is, widely available. So yeah, let's compare the two to see if there's we can get some more money out of this. Here we are again we're just trying the original Oatly. It's literally just the original, not the extra fat or the low fat. Let's give it a shot. Hey, am I crazy? Am I just being skewed right now by the previous two? But this doesn't look quite as good as the barista blend, right? There's more aeration in it. Maybe that oil really does make a difference. All right, let's just get it into the cup. We'll see. I don't know, just by my own drinking of it and doing this without an official test, I've always felt like the barista edition and the regular were the same. But again, maybe I'll be proven wrong. Here's the regular Oatly oat milk. Again, it's still pretty much that clean line around, even when I go to tilt it, and you'll see that foam is just like chef's kiss, mwah, like a beautiful. I mean, it's just gorgeous. And here is the barista blend for comparison. Of course, now it's been sitting a couple minutes, but still got those clean lines. Okay, let's give this one a taste. Oh my goodness. All right, I'm actually gonna take a sip of the barista blend again, like side by side, just so that I can equate the two. It's negligible. It is so negligible. This is so silky smooth. This is just as silky smooth. Gorgeous. And again, after taking another sip, I think if anything, the barista blend has barely, if any, a tinge more sweetness to it. And I mean, it's, again, so negligible. It's really difficult to tell. And again, with that kind of negligible difference between them, like I said, this is 64 ounces for just $1 more at my personal local grocery versus 32 ounces. Like, I don't know. Like, if you're only getting half the product and and this one is performing just as well as this, I mean, you can decide for yourself there, but I think it's almost just better to stick with the regular Oatly. But again, before we make that conclusive decision, let's look at these all side by side again and see how they're looking. Here they are all lined up from left to right. We've got regular Oatly, Oatly Barista Blend, and NUTPODS generic oat creamer. I mean, across the board, all three of these, you have to admit, are pretty stellar as far as, you know, a non-dairy creamer goes. With so many options on the market that I've tried and they've just not lived up to this, I mean, to have three solid options is really good. So again, these are all oat based, and I have not tried flavored creamers, but the Oatly Barista Blend and the regular Oatly have like a tinge of sweetness, whereas you're not going to get that with NUTPODS. But even after sitting here, the NUTPODS is still pretty much held up. There's a little bit of I don't know how well it's going to translate on camera. There's a little bit of contamination of the milk into the coffee down here, but again, it's not a lot. The Oatly Barista Blend is just, you know, kind of flying high, doing its thing. It is still perfect. I can tilt this all the way. It's going to come right back to those clean layers. The foam is getting a little bit more broken down at this point, but I mean, again, you're not typically going to just be letting your coffee sit like this. And then just regular Oatly. Again, I can tilt it all the way. It's going to go back to that clean separation. Foam looks gorgeous. I mean, if anything, I know I did make this one last, but I gotta say the original Oatly foam is holding up even better than the Barista Blend. This one is more frothy in the way that you'd want it, like more foamy for like a cappuccino. And this is just like a nice dense like foam. The NUTPODS it's starting to go just into the coffee. You can see that the line has pretty much receded. But like I said, I mean, I could keep going, but these are pretty much all winners in my book. It's just going to be, you know, what's available to you and what's cost effective. And if you care about added sugars or just naturally occurring sugars, or if you want something cleaner, then I would say NUTPODS. That's going to be your winner. It just doesn't come in a bigger size as far as I know. Oatly Barista Blend, I would love to keep recommending it, and I don't think it's a bad option at all. And if you are someone who doesn't, if you don't really use Oatly, like oat milk, for anything else, and it's just going to be like a big hunka-munka thing taking up room in your fridge, then by all means go for the Barista Blend, and you can just get it in this nice half and half type container. But otherwise, guys, I said this even in my original vegan creamer showdown. This is just, Oatly oat milk is just, it's just magical. It is just the clear winner. Now, yes, we are going to try these just stirred into coffee. I'll be surprised if this still doesn't end up number one. But yeah, right now for that foam test and just overall like taste and everything, original Oatly. All right, guys, this is our little speed round. I always am more inclined to test the frothing of the non-dairy milks because to me, that's what's really going to show a good non-dairy milk, at least for my coffee needs and for anyone who's looking for that kind of like full-bodied mouthfeel, like half and half, or any other dairy product you might have previously used, because it's that like fat, that viscosity that like holds up on coffee or in a latte that's gonna, you know, give you that. And so that's what I like to test. But if you do just happen to drink it plain and you're just using it as a traditional creamer, I do also want to test that for you just because that is also important. And I will say, again, if you haven't checked out my previous video, like there really can be a discrepancy between how they perform foaming and versus just like in hot or cold coffee. So again, we'll just start with some NUTPODS. Ooh, clearly did not need that much in here. Ooh. Oh my goodness. Color is also something that's important to me that I look for, and let me just say how bomb that is. You know what I'm talking about. All you people at Dunkin' who get it light, this is for you. All right, and there's no weird separation happening either. And I'm only noting that because in the other NUTPODS blends with their like almond and coconut blends, some separation can occur. And I mean, that's not everybody's cup of tea, but this oat milk seems to be pretty seamless. I think there might be some sort of particles, but I mean, that's, again, so negligible. So let's give it a taste. So nice. Yeah, that is just like a true, you know, good half and half replacement. It's not too thick. And again, there's absolutely no sweetness to it whatsoever because it's NUTPODS and their whole deal is that, like, you know, good for you type quality. So yeah, but that's a nice little coffee. All right, next is the Oatly Barista Blend. Will it do well when it's not performing in, you know, a froth drink? That also doesn't need a lot, which is fantastic because there are a lot of creamers, a lot of vegan creamers out there that require you to put almost half the container to get any sort of color on your coffee. Ooh, that is, again, seamless. Now, I do think I put a little bit more of the NUTPODS in here, which gave it this a little bit of a lighter color, so I don't really fault the Barista Blend that much. And when I hold them up this way, they're pretty much the same, so I'm not gonna fault this for color. Let's give it a taste. Super smooth still. Oh, of course I hit the camera. Sorry about that. This, like I said, is smooth, but again, tasting them side by side, this is just a little bit smoother, sorry to say. It inches out the NUTPODS a little bit. And again, there's a little bit of that like oat milk sweetness behind it. It's really nothing, but it does just, I think, maybe contribute to that like smoother mouthfeel than the NUTPODS. So yeah, still amazing. Now it's time for regular Oatly. Nope, pretty much comes out the same as barista blend. They're all pretty much the same there. Now let's give this a taste. Still nice and smooth. I will say though that the barista blend gives you a little better mouthfeel. Like there's just something extra behind it. And again, I think it's because it has that extra oil in it. But these are still a little bit smoother tasting than the NUTPODS. But again, it's really so negligible. So guys, I mean, this is an all-star lineup right here. I really do just think all of these are great options and totally dependent on what's available to you. Again, I will just quickly go through my like final points about these, but I've already kind of said them before, so I'm just reiterating again. You can't go wrong with any of these, first and foremost. If you want to have like that, you know, less processed feel, know that you're having less into it, no sugar, go with NUTPODS. If you want to feel a little bit fancy, maybe do some like cappuccino work, latte work, and you just want something smaller in your fridge, less fridge space, go with the barista blend. If you don't care about either of those two things and you just want an all-around amazing plain creamer option, amazing froth option, and tons of it for your value, get the original Oatly. I'm sure even if you splurged and got the full fat Oatly, if you could find it, I'm willing to bet that performs even better or pretty similarly to the barista edition, since it's probably, I would think, obviously got more fat. This currently has 5 grams of fat. I'm curious to know what the full fat version has and if it would even have more of the rapeseed oil, because this only has 2% or less, whereas this has more than 2%. So maybe it would have a higher oil content as well and give an even smoother feel. But yeah, cannot go wrong. All 3 of these, just perfect. I mean, just so good. And if you guys have any other suggestions that you want me to try, that you want me to test against each other, please let me know in the comment section down below. I am happy to do that. Like I said, I don't have to be tied to any specific creamer. I want to try and support them all. So yeah, just let me know. And again, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you're notified when new videos go up. And I will see you all next time. Happy coffee drinking. Bye.